Hello, my name's Jalise. Right now I'm going to give you my top 10 Spider-Man movie villains. I have reviewing all the ones from the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy to now the Homecoming movies. Now, I just saw Homecoming, so yes, this is the top 10. There is actually 11 Spider-Man movie villains, but we're going to call it the top 10. So let's start off with the dishonorable mention, even though the last 4 are dishonorable mentions. But number 11 is none other than Topher Grace's Eddie Brock's Venom. Topher Grace is not an Eddie Brock. This guy looks more like a Spider-Man than a freaking jock. Eddie Brock is a jock, bully, and asshole. Why was Topher Grace ever to play Eddie Brock was stupid. The fact that they brought Venom in the last 20 minutes of Spider-Man 3 was stupid. I do not like Venom. He's my least favorite Spider-Man movie villain of all time. So, yeah, Spider-Man 3... what a surprise. First villain on the list. Okay, let's start off with the top 10, everybody. Number 10, Harry Osborn's Green Goblin, The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I actually enjoyed this interpretation of Harry Osborn. I was enjoying it. But the fact is they made him the Green Goblin at the end of this film to kill Gwen Stacy was freaking stupid. It was idiotic, stupid. It should have never happened. And the fact is how they made him look was even more horrendous. And yeah, just like Venom, he showed up the last 20 minutes as a villain. There's no point. So, Harry Osborn's Green Goblin, Amazing Spider-Man 2, number 10. Number 9, I'm going to give to Rhino. Why but Rhino number 9 is simply put that the guy is nothing but 10 minutes of screen time, but he was doing what he was given. He was a thug at the beginning of the Amazing Spider-Man 2. He got caught by Spider-Man. He's released out of jail by Oscorp. They give him a Rhino suit, and he's a Rhino. And he's only like there for like 2 minutes. And since he's a villain, and since everyone was saying, oh, Amazing Spider-Man 2 had 3 villains, no, it did not. This guy was barely in the film. But since he's a villain, since he wore the Rhino suit, he's on this list. And for what he's given, he's just number 9. Can't really say much about him. Number 8, I'm going to give to Shocker from the Spider-Man Homecoming. There are 2 Shockers, actually, and neither one of them is truly memorable. They're just there as a thug, and they're just here to help the Vulture. I kind of wish they had a costume or something, or a little bit more to make them fulfill as a villain, but I'm glad they did not kill a certain Shocker off, so I'm happy to see the next Shocker if he will show up in this next Spider-Man Homecoming. But overall, he was just a side character, the bodyguard to the greater villain, so he's the underboss. So Shocker number 8. Looking forward to see more of him. Number 7, I'm going to give to Spider-Man 3, Harry Osborn's Green Goblin, played by James Franco. I never liked any interpretation of the Green Goblin with Harry Osborn, because I never liked Harry Osborn as a character. Didn't like him in the TV shows, didn't like him in the comic books, didn't like him as a villain. To me, he wasn't a villain. He was a guy with a vendetta, a grudge against Spider-Man. And he didn't really do villainy stuff in this entire dang film. Other than the fact that he admitted kissing MJ and just really capitalized on it. I mean, he ain't like his father who like attacks civilians and burn people down. No. This Harry Osborn in Spider-Man 3, played by James Franco, was just a guy who wanted revenge for his father, but ultimately he had to decide that what type of man he wants to be, and ultimately he becomes kind of like a hero at the end. So, Green Goblin, number 7, Spider-Man 3. Number 6, I'm going to give to the Lizard, Dr. Connors. I really enjoyed the Lizard, honestly. I enjoyed the character in the TV show and the comic books. This character was just a sympathetic guy. He was a guy, but he was a scientist, but in a desperate situation, and he had to make a desperate decision, and he tried to recreate it, get his limb back of his arm, and doing so, he became the Lizard. And now he believes he could help more people around. He wants to spread more lizards around the world, just because of the fact that he believes it'll be better for people, and he could cure them from all types of disease, and he can make them better. And the Lizard, Dr. Connors, is a sympathetic character, and I enjoyed him in the main Spider-Man 1, but ultimately, he's not my favorite Spider-Man villain. Number 5, I'm going to give to now the Sandman. I absolutely enjoyed the Sandman of Spider-Man 3. I thought he was a great villain, a sympathetic guy who, again, a bad situation he was brought into, a desperate man who is ultimately responsible for the death of Uncle Ben in Spider-Man 3. and he was just a guy who was just trying to rob someone, and he had a family, he had someone to go back to, and the consequences of what he's done had to reflect his entire life. To me, he's a villain, but he's a very sympathetic villain, and I really enjoyed this new take. I love the special effects of how they created Sandman, but overall, he's not my favorite super villain of Spider-Man, but overall, Sandman, number 5. Number 4, I'm going to give to Jamie Foxx's Electro. Now, I'm going to repeat why I like Jamie Foxx's Electro from the main Spider-Man 2. One, we know this, a lot of people complain that the only reason why he went against Spider-Man because he didn't know his name. And no, it's not because he didn't know his name was Max, it's because of this. Jamie Foxx's Electro is socially awkward. We know that he's obsessed with Spider-Man. He's obsessed with people trying to keep him visible. And he mentioned of someone knowing his name. He finds it so astounding, and he's like, she knew my name. I mean, this is a guy who is not socially active. This guy who's very much in his own little shell of a world, and he knows only about electrical power grids and all that stuff. And he's very obsessed with his work. And the fact is that he turns into a villain. And this one scene of how it's created, he feels so much power that he's never had before. An unstable human being with superpowers is going to be awesome to me. And the fact is that he didn't hate Spider-Man right then and there. He hated the fact that the cops were shooting at him, and he felt different. And when the screen was turned the page of Jamie Foxx's Electro into the picture of Spider-Man on the television, that he sees Spider-Man as a guy who's like steals the spotlight, who is so greedy. And not to mention, we see with electrical currents, if you had the subtitles on in the film, that whatever, there's something talking to him, or maybe he has like a paranoid schizophrenic who knows about his character. But overall, I enjoyed his fight scenes. I thought he was a great villain, and I really found him very sympathetic. And ultimately, I want to see more of him. And the way he goes out was pretty dang awesome. I really enjoyed that fight scene. So, the main Spider-Man 2, Electro, to me was a great reason why I enjoyed the main Spider-Man 2. Overall, Electro, loved him. Number 4. Number 3, I'm going to give to Michael Keaton's Vulture. He's, again, another sympathetic villain. This is a guy who's just tired of life, tired of the rich taking advantage, tired of against the government, stepping on their toes. He fights for the little people in his own way. He robs for the rich, and he keeps for himself. I mean, this is a guy who doesn't really give a shit about what people think about him. He's trying to protect the people he loves, trying to protect the people that he loves, and he wants to do right for his daughter. Ultimately, he's a guy that will kill you if you look at him any way differently, and he's not a man to be trifled with. And I really just enjoyed Michael Keaton's Vulture. I really enjoyed the suit, and overall, Vulture, awesome character. So yeah, I'm gonna give, he's my third favorite of the Spider-Man movies, characters. Number 2, I'm gonna give to Green Goblin, played by Norman Osborn, played by Willem Dafoe. Yes, the green suit looks something out of Power Rangers, but Willem Dafoe as Norman Osborn was simply amazing. You could tell this guy is split in two. You could tell this guy is evil, deceptive, and it just consumes him. And I just love every single moment of him in Spider-Man 1. A fantastic first villain, a fantastic great villain, and overall, Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin is one of the best villains of all, superhero villains of all time, in my opinion. And he captured it perfectly from the TV show and the comic books of who Green Goblin, Norman Osborn is. And I loved Willem Dafoe's performance of it. Number 2, Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin, the Spider-Man 1. And my ultimate favorite Spider-Man movie villain, and we all know which one is going to be, is our Alfred Molina's Otto Octavius Dr. Octopus. Dr. Octopus from Spider-Man 2 was amazing. A sympathetic villain again, and this guy was just simply amazing. A man who was trying to do science for the greater good, who loses his wife in a tragic accident, who's being taken, controlled, and manipulated by the mechanical arms he has made. And his fights with Spider-Man is amazing. And ultimately, his decision to not to die as a monster was very heroic and very sacrificial. And I just really enjoyed Dr. Octopus. I really loved his moments with Peter Parker, where he's trying to tell him about advice, love, poetry. Really love that, and I really love the sarcastic evil side of him, where he's about to hand over Aunt May to Peter, and he's like, Butterfingers, and I just really enjoy his character. So, Alfred Molina's Dr. Octopus, amazing, my number 1 favorite of the Spider-Man movie villains. But that's my own personal opinion, everybody. Subscribe if you'd like, disagree down below, link, comment down below, let me know, respect my opinion, respect yours. What's your own personal top 10 Spider-Man movie villains, or top 11? What is your list? Worst to best? Let me know what y'all think of one. I'm Jalise, signing off. Everybody. Bye bye.